I'm so excited to be here today with Jeri Reeder, one of my absolute favorite yoga teachers. She has provided me with a ton of healing and knowledge and grace and wonderful words. There's so many classes that have made me cry and laugh, and you play my favorite music. So it's just been a journey, and you guys have helped me so much, and I had Danae in here, and then I just, when I talked to you the other day, I was like, why don't I talk to Jeri too?
Nice, let's talk.
Jeri is the storyteller, and you're amazing. You come in every time, and your mom calls, and we know so much about your life, and you're just so open and honest and graceful with everything that I think everybody in that room just feels so loved and accepted, and I just wish there was more of that in this world. So I love talking to you.
Well, I have to thank you. You're one of a lot of people's favorites around the town, so to speak. You have inspired us as well. So you're through the teacher training, and now your books and things that are coming out. I think it's your time.
Thanks.
I think it's your time, Carol.
So sweet. Yeah. So tell me, how did storytelling start in your family? Do you feel like it was weaved through your generations? Because I've heard you talk about your grandmother and your mother, and so you seem like strong women were a real.
Yeah, that's funny you say that as a storyteller. I think everyone is a storyteller, and some people share their stories in different ways through art or through dance. I think I do mine on the yoga, world or in that realm. But I think you're right. I think maybe being a Leo, or I don't know, just
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, my mom and my daughter and my sister are all Leo.
Really?
So yeah, so that makes
great.
sense.
We like to tell stories, but I never thought of myself as a storyteller until you just said that right now. That's kind of neat.
They're great stories.
Oh, that's sweet. I think as a yoga teacher, or not to separate that as a person, but I think it's really important that you let a little of your life into the class, as opposed to just sort of being back and talking about alignment. And I just find that it's so easy to relate what I'm going through, and to maybe somebody on that mat, or maybe somebody in that room has a similar story, that if I can share my obstacles, that maybe it'll touch them just for that one moment, because that's all we really have.
I know, right?
Those little moments,
presence.
Add together, yeah.
So yoga's taught me so much about, I used to think like mind, body, spirit, and there's something about yoga that has brought all of that together, and it's all one embodied thing.
Yeah.
Because I know if my body feels good, my brain works better, my spirit relaxes and is calm, and I don't think of it as like separate things.
Yeah.
So much of that has come from my yoga practice.
I think that in life, this tetrahedral syndrome, if you will, this triangle, it doesn't break. There's not a stop in that triangle, and to keep the continuity around, or to find the flow of the body, mind, spirit really will allow all of us to be able to, again, tell our stories. Because it is about our spirits and our hearts. And then again, sometimes it's about our sore knees and our shoulders.
Yeah,
and
we've bonded over that too.
We sure have. We've got little issues that are like, oh. And that's all part of it. I mean, and these injuries that I keep hearing about or run into with my students, I'm like, well, that's something's telling you something. And especially with our bodies, they are very wise, so wise, and they're so in tune to our, like an injury to me is a spiritual awakening, like you gotta listen to why that keeps bothering you there, or especially your gut, and just a lot of those things are very much on a spiritual, what is it that you need to do? What is it that you need to listen to?
Yeah, no, I remember you giving me permission one day, like, that's telling you to slow down, like, take your time, listen to that knee, or, it must have been my knee at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's hard because you get so many hard charging athletes in your class.
Absolutely will.
And I think you're so good for them.
Oh, that's sweet of you. I appreciate that, because I'm not the hardest teacher there, but hopefully I'm a safe one.
Yeah.
I want it to be safe and linear, and sometimes when you get, nonlinear in your practice and you wanna do twists and bends, it's like, that's not really in my realm right now, so I want safety. I like the safety and the comfort, that's where I'm at.
Well, one of the questions I had for you, as I was thinking about the way that you teach and you talk is, in your words, you always have so much acceptance. And I feel like there's so much judgment out there in the world. And I'm wondering what advice you would give to help people cultivate more acceptance in their own lives, of themselves, of others, rather than that, we judge ourselves, we judge others, and to me, that always puts us in a negative mind space. And I just feel that grace from you, and I'm wondering, what advice you have on that.
Oh, that's really sweet. I think that experience and age has something to do with it a little bit, but I think that we are so critical of ourselves. We really are. We're in this negative talk that we have that we're not even aware of, and the way to the sabotage that we do on ourselves. We constantly sabotage ourselves, and I think that if we can for a moment just breathe and realize that these obstacles are here for reasons. So if you can just sit, whether it's an injury or a breakup or you're late for something, it's going to be the way it's going to be. And to take a moment, pull yourself back, take a small breath, and this goes on a moment by moment basis or a daily basis. For instance, I've been married for 32 years. That's a tough relationship to be in, really. And it's on a constant basis that I'm like, do I even really like you anymore? What?
You're headed to the next question I was thinking, because I knew that you had a long relationship, and I'm wondering, just those tricks of the trade that are out there today.
It's a constant what? Okay. Well, it's usually a mere reflection. If you've got some sort of negative feeling, it's about somebody else or something else. It's really just a flip of a mirror. My mom used to always say that. It's like, whatever you're thinking and whatever you're feeling about anybody else, it's just turn that mirror right on you.
That is the same thing that my dear friend, her mom passed in November, and she used to say, turn the mirror around and look at yourself. The second you're ready to point your finger.
Yeah, so if I'm thinking something my hubby's like making me feel black, I'm like, whoa, Jeri, why aren't you happy with yourself right now, So I do that a lot lately. I'm like, where is it in me that I'm not, something about me is not happy. It's not them. It can't be them. It can't be, and the other day I was like, and my perfect husband, It's like, no, he's not perfect, but at the same time, you gotta make things work if you want to make things work, unless it's making you ill.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard to know, boundaries, and I think in your line of work and in the way I've gotten to know myself, we're givers, right? That desire to, when you're younger, I think it comes out as a people-pleasing, at least it did in me, as a very people-pleasing, how can I make everybody around me happy? And then I'll be happy, right? And then I think as you get older, you realize that flips, and to make yourself the healthiest version of you.
Oh, Wendy, you wise one. You're getting so wise, Miss Wendy.
Because I don't think I was that. I definitely wasn't the most confident version of me. I wasn't the healthiest version of me. But I've always had this, and this is where the optimist in me comes out, is I've always had this ability to make the best of a situation. I know how to make my day good. But, searching for that better and within yourself without being too critical, and then taking that out into the world, is something that I very much want to do.
Yeah, and that's what you are doing. I mean, wow, we gotta give you some kudos, girl. I've watched you grow, and through the heavy stuff that you've been through, look at the earth is rising, and you're the growth, and the flowers are growing, and they're just rotating. No, it's so exciting to see it, because I see it in a lot of my students.
Yeah.
They'll come for a year straight, and you can just see them just breaking out of a little mold. It's cracking and it's moving, and you're just like, flowers are blossoming, and it's just so exciting.
You sound like such a mom right now.
So,
it's like you feel like you see your students as almost like your children, and you have a couple children, right?
Yes, I do. I've got a couple kids, and they're the hardest, because you're most critical on them, and then you can go to yoga, and you're like, you're all so grand for being here, and then, you know, your kids are at home, and they're doing stuff that probably you are, like, critical of, you know, but at a certain point, they're their own beings, and you just, like, the more love, the better. The more love that you can have for everyone, really. I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
but we're always hardest on the ones that.
Yeah,
are most,
absolutely,
right? Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's the key. So then, if, you know, if we can be softer on ourselves and a little bit more loving and forgiving, and give ourselves the nourishment that we need, the time that we need, and I think that we're all going in the right direction when we take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
It's
And
hard.
to me, like, that's been so much of the yoga journey, and that just being able to sit in quiet, and, you know, there's so much there is so much out there about self-care and taking that time, but self-care doesn't have to be an expensive proposition.
Good point.
It
really.
can be literally like, take your, you know, whether it's your music
Mm.
or your book, and especially where we live, you can go find beauty
Oh,
anywhere, and you can also sit alone in your own room.
yeah,
And
yeah.
but so many of us that's like a scary thing, to like be with yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's another thing that yoga has taught me, because like
Right.
to sit with those thoughts and be still and know that, okay, I'm okay.
It is a great feeling when you can just be in a class and nothing else. It's sort of the camera lens gets out of focus, and you're just like, if you could just be okay with the way you look on the posture, the way your mat is, the way your clothes are, the way you think you are in the mirror, and it's really hard to do. It's not as easy. But once you can get that feeling of, it really doesn't matter what my postures look like. It really doesn't matter. But you can tell people are trying so hard, they're like shaking, and it's like, just take it back a bit. Take it back a bit.
This is why I love you.
Just take it back a little
It's
bit.
so fun. Okay, what day exactly is your birthday? I'm so curious.
Oh, 8/19.
19. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my best friend in high school's birthday.
See, it's all connected. It's all connected, yeah.
Oh man. So, did your kids? You raise kids in this
Here,
area?
right in the South Bay, yeah. I was on the school play director, and, you know, active in the school with the kids, and I raised two, actually I raised a bunch of wolves personally. Let y'all know, we're all wolves. I'm very tribal. I love they haven't flown far from the nest. And they're artists, you know. I raised a bunch of artists, and I don't know if I would, with my granddaughter Cricket, flashcards in French, you know. It's like,
Really?
well, I mean, you know, it's like you raise them because you don't really know else what
Right.
you're doing. You know, I don't know what I was doing, but they're really soulful artists, and I love them.
Yeah. I see. I tend to think like we get away from those free spirits today. Like everything is so
Yeah,
programmed.
yeah.
And like, you do this and sign up for this, and there's not a lot of like, just go out and, you know, let
Yeah.
your spirit run free.
And then at some point you gotta let them fly and be who they are, you know, and that's still, it's always a challenge as a parent, I think, to let them just be themselves, and you know, where it lays, and there we are, we're all tribal, you know, with love.
And those grandbabies. Tell me about that.
Oh my God, well, little Cricket Ray is the light of our lives. She's about 18 months old. And it's just so fun to see it for a second generation running around. You're like, I don't remember how I did it. I don't remember, you know, I mean, your kids are now older.
It's true.
So
It's true. Yeah.
how did you, I mean, you have 4.
Yeah.
How 4 lunches, 4 dinners, 4 different places they have to be. I mean, wow. And then you're writing this and doing this. I mean,
Yeah.
I know, I almost want to interview for you.
No,
That's my.
I'm happy when I'm busy. I guess I put it
Is
that
it?
way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so, but you're learning to slow down.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, in your mind, in your heart, but
Yeah. And the slower I go, 1, I know myself better, and 2, I'm actually more productive. Because I think when they were little, you just run around, you know, and it's a function of having little kids too, but like, now it's so much more intentional.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do
Everything.
your kids see a change in you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's wonderful.
What is going on? But they're excited. They get excited when I do something.
Yeah, like.
My daughter said the other night, she came home from a retreat and they had an event for the parents, and she said they all stood up and said something to their parents, like kind of thanking them she said, "Thank you, Mom, for teaching me to have confidence, even though you didn't always have confidence." And because I've talked to her about, and she was a really confident kid. She's hard charging, and I was like, "Gosh, Lauren, I wasn't like that at your age, And all the way coming up, she was not. She never seemed to struggle with that, and I'm like, I taught that,
That's
So
great. Well,
you get those little things. It's still my favorite job.
Yeah, it is
it
pretty
is.
groovy. Yeah, it's pretty groovy.
I think we've talked about acceptance and judgment and our stories, and I just think it's so important to tell our stories, because this concept of generational learning for me is all about, if we can teach the generation below us what we've been through, maybe they can learn from those stories, and the good ones and the tough ones, and build I think there's so much when we don't know what's come before us, that we learn it later, and if.
I think we've been talking about it in class lately, and that's called the samskara.
Yeah.
And I love that term because the word skara is in it, but our samskara is our lineage or history, even pre-ancestral. It's grandparents. And so for our kids, it's like technology is taking over, so the generations from here on out have a whole different samskara than we do. Like you talked about your grandparents are actually almond producers,
farmers.
right?
Yeah, my family farms, and now they're.
So that is a whole different generation in samskara. I mean, that's like getting in the dirt, and technology of these kids today is that they're gonna have their own set of samskaras that are different. And the term samskara in yoga is likened to almonds that root into your body. They're like these riverbeds of life that you just have these same habitual habits over and over and over, and not just your habits of the day, but your grandparents' habits. And how do we create this new fresh flushings of riverbeds? Because if you get so grooved into your habits, but we like our old habits, don't we? Don't we love our
routine?
Yeah, we love those old stories that are comforting. But how do we break out of that? How do we break out of those old samskaras? I think it's meditation. I think it's coming to a quietness in your mind so that the creative flow in the frontal lobe can flourish. Because when we're critical, these windows shut, right? In the ajna, in the third eye, right? The third eye chakra.
Right.
Those windows will shut, and all this critical judgment. But you're at your best when you're in the state of flow. I talk about Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, the Hungarian philosopher, studied the state of flow quite heavily. And he said that we're at our happiest when we're in that state of flow. And how do we get there? If you study him, he talks about you have to have a percentage of that you know it so well that it comes naturally. Like for me, I think that I've taught yoga for 30 years, so it comes naturally to me to come to a room, put on the music. And for the new teachers, it's fun to watch them be sort of uncomfortable.
The hardest thing I've ever done in the last 20 years. I'm like, this is harder than school. I'm sorry.
But watch,
so hard.
In about 15, 20, 30, 40 classes, you'll be like, a little less judgment of yourself. But you have to have a certain amount, like they say that 10,000 hours, right?
Right.
If you do something for 10,000 hours, apparently you can get into a quick state of flow with that, right?
Yeah,
So, artists and painters, they just start to lose track of time. And I think that's what I try to do is open the shutters, open the windows of my ajna so that all of the other chakras can start to spin in the way they're supposed to spin.
I've absolutely felt that with sports and yoga and swimming in particular, because they're very calming and quiet. And the trick is to hang on to that creativity that comes into your brain in those moments. How do you hang on to it? Especially in swimming, I'd be like, there's nothing I can do. I can't write. I can't write it down. I can't.
Yeah.
And in yoga, I seem to be able to hang on to it a little bit, and I'll come out and make a note of oh, that was a great idea, or this was a thought I had. Because usually there's one or two nuggets that in fact, that philosopher from yesterday, when you mentioned those types of things, they grab on.
Well, Stephen Kotler, a gentleman that also studies the state of flow, he has something in San Francisco, I think it's called the genome state.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard him on a podcast.
Yeah, he's really good at
I think, yeah, he was on Michael Gervais, I think.
and have you heard of Jason Silva? You gotta check him out.
Okay.
Jason Silva, I think he's interviewed Stephen Kotler a couple
Okay.
times, but he's another one. He's like a Terrence McKenna or like an Alan Watts kind of guy. He's like the new age Alan Watts.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
right?
I've heard him.
I love him.
Oh gosh, I
So,
was blown away.
what they're studying is that, again, if we can slow the activity in the mind and the critical judgment, slow it down, get into states of flow, as you say, you get more done.
You do.
Yeah, and to not be critical and not to have that judgment that you're not getting enough done, or that you're not perfect enough, or that you're not, thin, or that you've got wrinkles, or you're not fast enough, or whatever your judgments are. Just take a breath, put that mirror in front of you, and watch that fog up.
Right. You always say that, like, look past it, right?
Yeah.
Just look past it. Yeah, and I think you said yesterday, because I think people come into your classes and they don't have those thoughts. They don't know that, you said 85% of your thoughts are negative.
Isn't that crazy? And
I mean-
and then the next day you have those same exact thoughts. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah, and that
That's-
goes to that self-talk. That
It is.
absolutely
And
is.
how do you change that
make or break.
self-talk?
Yeah,
I think that you go to stillness.
yeah.
You have to come to stillness. And so that you can, again, create that state of flow.
Yeah, and how
Yeah.
hard is that in the
Yeah.
world today? So, are you on social media, Jeri?
Well, you can find me on my little Instagram,
Okay,
Jeri
perfect.
Reeder, and
Alright.
Facebook. But no, I'm not that out in the world as far as like you're getting out there, girl. Well,
But I just have this theory that if I'm getting out there, I want to talk to the people. I think there's so many people in the world that are doing such amazing things that nobody ever hears about. Like, you're changing people's lives.
Oh,
You changed mine. So,
that's kind. That's
and
kind.
those are the people I want to talk to. I mean, I love the big stories. I love the Michael Phelps and the Kobe Bryants and all of those stories, but we hear those stories.
Yeah.
And I just think that there are such amazing people out there that.
Well, my mom, when I would go tell her, I go, well, I had a small class today, and she goes, oh, that's good. You can, because you always want those big classes, like you're the popular
Yeah.
teacher. And I was like, I had a small class. She goes, oh, that's so good. You're so lucky. Because yoga was one-on-one. That's where the lineage was. It was taught just by one student to one teacher, and it really was never written down. It was just passed on through the words of.
It's generational learning.
So I was like, oh, now I looked at it a whole different way. I was so lucky I have a small class.
I love it.
Yeah.
Perspective.
And also I get, like I said, I get people that I see in the market say, you were my first yoga teacher back in 1982 or so. It's like, oh, Lord, it's good for me.
They remember you.
Yeah,
Of course they do.
Oh, it's so sweet. It's kind.
Oh.
It's a kind world.
Well, thank you so much
Oh
for sharing
my
just a little
gosh.
bit of your knowledge. It's amazing.
I didn't feel like we just were chatting it up, but thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing as well, too.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You give me so much confidence. Appreciate
My
it.
girl Wendy.
This is the Optimist Journal. Check back for more interviews with amazing people like Jeri and people that are just, we're bringing good content and making the world a better place.
Yeah, yeah.